This video goes over troubleshooting for the Pocket NC V2-50DA software. As you're setting the points to trim the aligner in the software, there are several considerations to make as you go through the outline. At times you can come in too shallow or too steep at an angle, so this addresses how to spot those issues as well as how to fix them. One important thing to note is that the angle that you set the points at is the angle at which the end mill will approach the aligner to cut out. This can be problematic if it's too shallow or steep, so we go through that in this video and it'll make sense as we go through. So let's get started. So the back side of the teeth is where most collisions occur. The front side are not so much of an issue. So here we are going back and forth between editing and previewing the path and making sure that we have enough room and the spindle's not colliding with the teeth. So we move back to the edit, set the points. So one common mistake is that the spindle is angled too low or the travel limit is exceeded. So the travel limit exceeded means that the spindle and the end mill can't reach as far as you're asking it to cut out the aligner. When that happens, your spindle mount will turn red. The second issue here is that the spindle is colliding within the teeth model, which is certainly something you don't want when you go to cut out your actual aligner. Note that it didn't turn red here because the simulation doesn't detect the teeth model, so you do have to monitor this yourself in the preview path mode. So here we'll pause the preview, and you can step back through the active points one by one to identify where the last good point is. At this point, you can go to Edit Path, select the first point that causes an issue, delete it, and reset it. When you delete a point, the camera will take the angle of the previous active point, and we know that's good in this instance. So if you go through the process of deleting, it will go to the good camera angle, set the new point, and continue on. So press the point, delete, set the new point. So here again, the angle is too shallow, we're exceeding our travel limit. So we can go back to edit, and the way to change the camera angle is to click outside of the model and drag to a new angle. So now we're setting a new angle for the end mill to come in and cut the aligner. But notice this is almost directly on, and while it will cut, the finish of the aligner will not be very good. So we go back to edit path, change the angle again, and preview it, and this shows an optimal angle. So here it shows there's an issue and you're clicking outside and adjusting the camera angle for each point. This can be a bit tedious to do instead of deleting the points. The last technique we'll discuss is deleting a section of problematic points all at one time. So here we've identified a section that has issues where the spindle is at too shallow of an angle coming in to cut out the aligner. So we'll address that by going to the most recent point that's not good. And then deleting the several points. You can make sure you've gone all the way back to the point that has no problems by toggling back and forth between preview and edit. And here we've reached a point that doesn't have any issues. So we will resume setting the points within this section, checking along the way to make sure that the angle that we've set the end mill to come in to cut the aligner is okay. Once you've gone through and redone a section, it's a good idea to preview it. And before cutting a physical aligner, it's a good idea to preview the path. As you become more familiar with the software, you'll become more proficient at setting the points at the optimal angles, and this whole process will go much quicker and you likely won't have any issues. But as you're learning the technique, it's a good idea to check your work. And in general, before you put a part on a machine to cut out, it is a good idea to preview it, if possible, in full to quickly check and make sure that the aligner that you're going to cut out will run smoothly. If you have any questions that haven't been addressed in this video about the Pocket NC V2-50DA aligner software, please feel free to reach out to us at info@pocketnc.com and we'll get back to you. Thanks.